Alright, our next project is a ski lodge called Chaserrugg. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. You're going to want a couple things to get started. You're going to want this first template, which has written instructions, and then you're going to want each of these pictures downloaded somewhere. So I'll show you first the template. This is what we're going to do all in one go. We're going to get all our pictures imported, and we're going to get a grid system. So we're starting by inserting our plan one. I'm not going to do that in here because I don't want a super crowded Rhino file. So I've created a new one that's a large object, feet, inches. I'm going to go ahead and do some layers now. So I'm going to change this one to be plan. And then maybe I'll have this one be my, actually I'll leave grids red. I'll do this one as elevations. I'll do this as my section cut. And I'll have this as grid. Alright, so I'm going to leave plan as my main active layer right now. I'm going to type in picture. I don't know what picture frame is. I don't see that in here, so I'm just going to use picture. And I'm going to find my picture, plan one. And now I'm just going to scale it as best I can. So I want to crop this. Just, the less data we can have in our file, the better. Also, if I give this a border at the topography, it will make creating topography slightly easier when we get there. Alright, so now we're going to trim this. I'm going to type trim. It wants to know what I'm cutting with. That's this object. Click enter when you've done with that, and then click the picture. So now I've got a fairly small picture. I'm going to move this over for now. I guess I should have moved them at the same time. So and it's not going to, yeah, okay. Okay, so now we want to scale it. If we look at our template, it's supposed to be 173 feet from the outer edges. So I'm going to draw those lines, and then I'm going to scale the picture. Come back in here. First, I want to actually, I'm going to make these a group. That way my frame goes with it when I scale it. And now I don't want to keep doing a bunch of polylines, so I'm going to do just a single. And I'm going to come in as best I can to this outside edge. And I'm going to come all the way out because we're going to add another picture in here at some point. So I'm going to click this curve. I'll just move it to start and tap Alt. Alright, there we go. So now I copied it, and now I want to move this to be lined up. And it's kind of hard to do. I probably should have just drawn a brand new one. But what I can do is I can hold Shift and free move it. Alright, I'm going to call that good. So now I have no idea what this dimension is, but I can still scale the picture. Click on it. Use the drop down here to make sure I'm doing a 2D scale. I'm going to start up here. I'll just click the end. I'll click the end. And now I can see it's still a little small. So I'm at 144 feet right now. I'm just going to type 173 and click enter. So this one is still where it belongs. I'm going to leave it because of some stuff we're going to do later. I'm going to go ahead and scale 1D. And so at least I have that edge. And actually, now that I have it in the right place and I know my dimension, I can say copy, pick the end, and then come down 173 again. All right. What do we want to do now? We want to import another picture. This one's going to be an elevation. So I'm going to switch to this. And this time, if you look at our instructions, we are importing this north elevation. It's called section 1 on canvas. That's fine. We'll just pop it in, scale it as best we can. We're going to have to rotate it because it's going to come in the opposite orientation. So I'm going to say picture again. And now I'm going to find section 1. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball-ish what I think it's going to be size-wise. I'm going to rotate it. And then I'll move this up. And again, it's this edge. I'm happy with that. I'm going to give myself, oh, we're so close. I'm going to give myself another line here, though, just to make sure, rather than just picking a random spot. All right, so that's the edge I want. So I'm going to click over here. I'm going to do a 2D scale. I'm going to start. Let's just go with near. Make sure I am going perpendicular. Click here. Actually, I wanted to go the other direction. So let me undo that. Scale. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go past to this line and bring it back. Now I can delete that. I don't really need it anymore. And if you want, after you create a midpoint here, you can center this on the XY origin. Some people just like to do it as best practice so that they know where everything is. I probably will, but it's not a requirement to finish this project. So let's take a peek again. What are we doing? We've got that. Now we want to draw some more lines and get our elevation and our section in there. So we want a line at the very front. We're not going to include the steps. We're just going to do that bit, and then we're going to use the roof line on the back. And then we can line that up to the back of the roof and the front here. Let's go back in. draw a couple lines. And so these are still, I'm going to go ahead and do them green just so they stand out a little. Why not grids? We can always change them later. So again, I want to do a single line. I want to come in here and I want to find this edge of the building. And I want to kind of treat it like I did the others as far as where I consider the front to be. So as it starts to change from a solid to a fuzzier bit, maybe not. And since I scaled mine and it might not match, I don't trust the fact that even though Noah had 142 feet 2 1/4 inches, I don't know if I copied mine that that's where it would land. So I'm just going to draw a new one. We'll see how close it gets. But I'm going to pick the curve, I'm going to drag it over, I'm going to tap Alt. Now if I scroll in, yeah, I'm pretty good on that line. Okay. Now just for fun, let's see what that dimension is. I'm going to come over to standard, click dimension, 145. And now I had 142. So that's the nature of this type of modeling where you're scaling images. Everybody's going to have something slightly different. So now I'm going to do picture again. And this time I'm going to find section 2. Alright, and I'm going to line up one of these edges. Let me bring it down a bit, especially since we're going to have a second one. Let me double check. Maybe this is part of the discrepancy. And it's so hard to tell with these lower resolution images where it actually goes. That's alright. I'm gonna just make my own decisions here, and I'm gonna assume the roof line is the actual edge. Alright. So now we're a little too big here. I'm going to draw another line. I'm going to draw another single line. And now this time, we're not really using the roof line. You can see we're inside the roof line a bit. So I've got to use my actual wall, which would be this. I'm going to highlight my picture. I'm going to do a 1D scale. I'm going to start over here. Come here and bring it back. Alright, I don't need that anymore. I just here. All right. Get the curve. Delete it. And if you're ever in a position where you don't, like if I don't want to move my plan accidentally, once I'm done with it, I can just lock it. I'm still working on it. Well, actually, I'm done with elevations. I'm going to add a section now. But this is on grids. I want it. Oof. I want it to actually be on elevations. Notice that's on elevations. Okay, so now I can lock elevations, but I can't lock it while I'm on it. Now I'm going to do picture again. And this time I'm going for section 3, which is an actual section. Alright, so if I want to see this above the other one, well, I can just hide that for now. That's weird, considering this is supposed to be on elevations. And now I got the other opposite. So this is what I'm trying to come to. Well, I did this for the other one, so I'll be consistent. I'll click the picture, scale it. I'm going to start over here. Come here and bring it back. All right, let's bring this back up. One of the things you can do with an image is if I come to the properties panel and I go to the toothpaste here, I can set my transparency. So I'm just curious if I overlay these, how close they are. I'm pretty happy with that. That center line matches up pretty well. Yeah, okay.